So what happens with this iPhone is that it cuts out after so many minutes, apparently, because the screensaver comes on. And so I don't even know how far. Maybe I should check the video and listen to it before I upload it to YouTube and continue on with this. I think that's what I'll do. And I see here that my file began, for my friend Judith would be interested because we're both from Toronto and we're both in our senior years. And it began on September the 11th, 1956. And I would have started grade 6 for the second time. I missed, I had to repeat grade 6 because things were not so great at home, so I missed a year at school. I always felt embarrassed about that. Oh my God, having to repeat a grade? Oh, that's so embarrassing. I can still remember how embarrassed I was. Oh my God. And I can remember leaving home and going over to my little friend Lenore Kirkwood's house. Remember that? I wonder if you're still alive, Lenore. Oh, you were such a great friend. Oh, your parents were so wonderful. And we pitched a big tent and I lived over there with I moved all my stuff with my doll carriage. We walked and she helped me pack my stuff into a doll carriage, a little purple doll carriage. And we were 12-year-olds. And, I have such great memories from this house. That was the year of Mickey Mouse Club. MICKEYMOUSE, Mickey Mouse. And here I am, leaving home with my best girlfriend, moving over to Lenore Kirkwood's house because things are so unbearable at home. Anyway, that's where it began. And at this time, they came, the United Way. It wasn't me that broke up the home after all. Now, was it? They accused me of breaking up the home, but it wasn't me that broke up the home. And Aunt Gloria and Uncle Bob, they had paid to get our electricity put back on. This was in West Hill, Ontario. It says Lawrence Avenue, East, Scarborough. But we lived in West Hill, Ontario, so I don't know. I can elaborate on this York Cottage and how we ended up there. I don't quite remember, and everybody's deceased. My mother, my father, and my 2 little brothers. It's just me. So I have nobody to ask because even my cousins wouldn't know. And Aunt Gloria is the only living relative. And I don't know if she wouldn't know, but she might remember when her and Uncle Bob paid to have our electricity put on. We had no food, and the German lady across the road gave us food because she heard us crying in the backyard. We were hungry, and it was the very first time I ever tasted butter, rye bread, and they had a horse in the yard, and it was so nice there, and even although we were apprehended, I have some nice, pleasant memories. We used to build tree forts and hike along the Scarborough Bluffs of our friends, and I can remember my brother Dale breaking all the windows in the house next to me. He was overactive for sure, but or he set all the tires on fire or something. He was always getting into mischief because we had no parental guidance. My dad was at work and my mother was in another world we used to call it a nervous breakdown state of mind. It happened every 2 years throughout my childhood, but one year I went to live with my grandmother on the farm, but this particular time I was back home with my mother and father and my 2 little brothers in West Hill, Ontario. And we all 3 of us ended up at York Cottage, and I barely remember going there, but I'm glad I've got this paper to tell me. And if anybody wants, any of my friends see this and want to go through and read it, be my guest, because, it's a lot of reading and a lot of stuff to read. Look, there's a report. September, from the 11th, and 3 days later they say, worker visited Heather at York Cottage. She said that the boys had not gone to school, my two little brothers, is a very disapproving, in a very disapproving tone. Big sister. Big sister. Bossy big sister, Dale. Up in heaven, brother Dale. Bossy big sister. That's me. And and it says, well, where was I? Oh my goodness. I'm looking at the screen on the camera rather than the paper. I'm so excited here. It's like Christmas. I didn't know I could do this, to go to the Children's Aid how many years later, between 1961 when they released me into the world, but this is starting way before that, in 56. That's even better, because I told my oldest daughter that it's when I graduated from school, my foster kid file. Well, it is my foster kid file. It's everything to do with Children's Aid right here, all condensed into one little bundle with an elastic band. And they did the best they could, and you'll never know how much I appreciate this. Oh, I'd thought about suing them for releasing me into the world at a young age and over the years, but I was a helpless kid when they picked me up and gave me a roof over my head, such as it was. It's not so great to live in an orphanage with other poor children, and there was no abuse, though. I must say, there was no sexual abuse or any of that stuff like so many children had suffered on reservations and, the 60s scoop and all that stuff. I can't complain that I didn't get fed. It's just that I was very fussy. I didn't want to eat everything that was placed in front of me. And, all kids are like that, aren't they? Especially 12-year-olds. They have a mind of their own, and so did I. Anyway, Heather, so see where the love and forgiveness comes in? Oh, man, boy, am I ever spiritual, and I don't even go to church. Okay, September 14th, 1956. Worker visited Heather at York Cottage. She said that the boys had not gone to school, in a very disapproving tone. Heather herself is in grade 6, and her teacher is Mrs. Green. She had complained that she is doing the same work as last year, and since school, she is not very interested. And Heather's teacher last June reported that her work is satisfactory. I need a new pair of glasses. These are 10 years old. I'm very poor. It seems surprising that the child did not pass. You see? I missed a year of school, right? Because of the home situation. Heather, and I'm doing grade 6 all over again. It's embarrassing if she didn't understand that. Heather is not very happy at the cottage. I wonder why. Who the hell, what kid could be happy at an orphanage? Tell me. She complains that the, elder boys were rough with her. Worker recognized, see the English S? She's an English woman, obviously. English. When you see an S, we use Z in North America, but in UK they use S. See the word recognized? See how they put the S instead of the Z? Anyway, where am I? Oh, God, it's cloudy and it's sunny. Oh, my eyes. She complains that the older boys were rough with her. Worker recognized that this made it difficult for her. And then there's a blanked out something. That's the name of the social worker, I suppose. Miss Keith would be the blank. Miss Keith was the matron of the house. Has told Heather that he will try to arrange for her, I don't know, to stay at her grandmother's in Hanover. And she is eager to do this. Yeah, that's how I ended up at my grandmother's house. Well, now we know, and I have photos, but I don't have any photos of myself at my grandmother's house. But I remember it was so wonderful to go to my grandmother's house, and even my two little brothers stayed at my Aunt Gladys Benninger's house next door. And it's about 120 miles northeast of Toronto. And of course, it's probably not the same in Ontario now, but anyway, this is opening up skeletons in the closet of Heather Hopkins, and I have to read everything, and there's no time on videos. So far, I've got 2 videos. I guess one is about 20 minutes long, and this one so far is 10 minutes long, and it's going to take me forever. But I think once I've got the confidence now to read the rest of it by myself, and then I'll be better prepared to film it in more depth and with a synopsis and even what's the word they used? I learned a new word. Every day learn a new word. That's what my Mrs. Wolf used to say. Every day learn a new word. And then at the end of the year, you've learned 365 new words. If you don't like reading, or if you don't know how to read, or very well, or if circumstances are that you cannot read, if there's too much chaos, arguing, fighting, screaming, distractions around you, then how can you read and concentrate, right? See the word they used? Redacted, in response to your request, and it says here, please find enclosed a redacted copy. I'm thinking that word must mean condensed, or the best they have in their microfiche, because it says, although they addressed it to me on May the 14th, my birthday a week ago, and I got it Saturday night, and I have to fax this page back for the 19th and let them know that I received this very important confidential file, my foster kid file. I'm sorry, but it's been all these years, and it's very serious about foster care, because it's left me with going out into the world all by myself, getting abused a few months later, and so on and so forth. But you know, all these years later, does it really matter? No. But things turn out the way they do. One thing for sure, I did feel like ending it all. I mean, what kid wouldn't, right? When you're different, you're not like your friends' mothers and fathers and everything, and then there's this little beautiful darling. Hey, hi, do you want to help me? You want to help me go through the file, young fella? He's 4 years old. Silvio. I call him Silvio. But his previous owner had named him Shadow. So I call him Shadow, Sylvester, Silvio, because my daughter thinks he should be Sylvester because of his color, his coat. And see how he's lying on my stuff? So I'll end it here. Bye-bye, Judith. Enjoy what I've written. But what I've written, not what I've written, sorry, what I've spoken, the spoken word. Because I don't think anyone else will want to see this, but I'll go through everything, and I'll be able to better explain what other discoveries I've made. It's a journey. It's an adventure of looking back into my life. No more secrets. And I love that book, you know. I don't like secrets now in my life. I do not like secrets. I can understand confidentiality and security, but when it comes to opening up the wounds of the past and psychology, they cannot possibly be secrets. They have to be, there's a history, there's a paper trail of anything that's happened to me in my life with the Canadian government and with your government. There must be.